focusing on winning arguments, we're teaching the basic fundamentals of sales and marketing and how we can use them to win in the world of politics, teaching you how to meet people where they're at on the issues they care about. Welcome to The Brian Nichols Show. Can this unaffiliated write-in candidate for Maryland governor actually win? We're going to talk about that. But first, folks, thank you for joining us on, of course, another fun-filled episode of The Brian Nichols Show. I am, as always, your humble host. And thank you for joining us, yes, from the lovely Stratus IP studios here in Eastern Indiana. I'm going to be up in Illinois, by the way, this weekend. If you join us up at the LP State Convention, I'll be the MC. Plus, I will be doing their auction at the end of the night with Justin Amash. That should be a lot of fun. So, yeah, that's where my head's at with Illinois. But no, from our lovely Stratus IP studios here in Eastern Indiana, don't let cyber attacks or old, slow, outdated technology put your company at risk. Learn more at briannicholsshow.com/Stratus IP, Stratus IP business technology simplified. Folks, before we go ahead and reintroduce today's guest, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to today's sponsors. And this is to other candidates out there, but also to small business owners. And that is our partner and our sponsor, Right Strategies. Now, if you are a business owner and if you are a candidate, you know one of the toughest things is to break through and make some noise in the digital landscape. Well, guess what? With a proven track record of helping clients win both their elections, but also win in the marketplace using smart, strategic digital marketing, our good friends over at Right Strategies is going to be the perfect partner to help you reach both your election and your business goals, because they have an amazing team of experts who's going to help you save time, money, while also doing so by amplifying your message to win your elections, but also win in the marketplace. They have a great SMS texting tool, and it's going to be giving you an efficient, affordable, and smart means to help focus your marketing budget, helping you reach tens of thousands of customers and voters, and allowing you to make a powerful impact on the outcome of your elections and your business growth. From social media management to expert graphic design work to marketing your product or your campaign, heck, to even helping you build your brand, Right Strategies can put together a plan that's going to make sense for your goals and do so within your budget. So if you want to learn more about how Right Strategies can help you win your elections and win in the marketplace, head to briannicholsshow.com/RS and you can get your free political campaign or your free business marketing plan report card. But just please do me a favor and let Morgan and the Right Strategies team know that I sent you. One more time, briannicholsshow.com/RS, amplifying your message where voters and customers spend their time. All right, folks, I mentioned we have an unaffiliated write-in candidate who's running for governor of Maryland. He is returning here to the Brian Nichols Show. I'm so excited to have him on the program, and definitely someone who I dare say has become a good friend, Kyle Sefcik. Welcome back to the program, my man.
Brian, thank you for having me back, brother. Hey, and before we start, credit needs to be given where credit is due. Brother, not just congrats on your show to continue to do what it's doing since we last spoke, but your meme game is incredible. It has been a beacon of hope. It has been the best ones I've been seeing. I appreciate you, man, and I just salute you on that for sure.
Thank you, brother. Well, hey, you know what? And okay, I've gotten some feedback on the memes, and I'll tell you what I've heard from folks is they think that the memes are some of the easiest ways for them to reach, quote, the normies. And the reason being is because 9 times out of 10, the memes are meant to make you laugh, right? And the reason that people end up laughing is because when you laugh, there's usually a hint of truth behind the laughter. So when they see the meme, right, when we talk about this in sales, once you see it, you can't unsee it. So now they're seeing it, they're laughing, and now you've planted that seed, whether they realize it or not. And if you can get enough people to laugh, you've planted enough seeds. All it takes is more and more time for them to start realizing, yep, the thing they laughed at, that real life thing, it is, in fact, something that they should be laughing at. But maybe we should start doing something about that thing so we no longer have to laugh about it and we can actually make things better from it. So thank you. I appreciate that. And I really do hope it makes a difference.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Sefcik, you are, as I mentioned in the intro, running for governor of Maryland. And we talked about this when you were last on the show. Now, you're running as a write-in candidate, but you're also doing so unaffiliated. No Republicans, no Democrats, heck, no even libertarians. That seems like it's going to be an uphill challenge. But hey, you've been doing a lot of fighting, it seems, both in your political career as well as your professional career. Talk about that, how maybe you're going to have an uphill battle, but maybe you're going to stand enough of a chance based on your experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one brother is I've heard that my entire life when I'm fighting professionally, starting my own businesses, doing my events. I've always heard from people, oh, Kyle, man, you're going after something big there. You sure you can do it? Or like, I've always heard that. So what I'm doing now isn't like anything new to me, going after things, even with, the haters and the trolls and me going against, the establishment right now with everything that's going on. I am in the general election as an unaffiliated candidate, the only unaffiliated candidate for governor in the country. That's got to tell you something. The things I've been doing behind the scenes to get to this point, past primaries, right here. And as you said, I'm a write-in candidate. But do you know why I'm a write-in candidate? Because I do not belong to the establishment. I do not belong to the party playing their game. So what they're going to do is they're going to have the other candidates that you mentioned on there with the name and the bubble. But what they're going to do for me is put a bubble, put the word right in, and put a line, but they won't put my name. How crazy is that? Even though I'm the only other candidate, it's insane. I'm able to be in this election to tell people how it really is, how crazy politics really are, how crazy the board of elections really are, especially here in Maryland. It is this messed up. They don't want to see somebody like myself, a father, a Christian, a business owner, someone that's been fighting against the establishment since 2020, especially when they tried to close down my businesses, put masks on everybody, make everybody get a jab, whether they wanted it or not. They don't want me in there, but guess what? Here I am as a write-in. I'm taking it as a badge of honor, and guess what? We're going to be making history on November 8th.
There you go. And what a start, because people are looking for someone to lead. We talked about this in the show. There's a difference between leadership and people blindly following. People are looking to be led somewhere by somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, number one, but actually has solutions to the problems that people see. And let's start off. There's been a lot of problems we've really uncovered over the past few years here, namely, number one, the government deciding it's going to be the arbiter of deciding who can and cannot keep their businesses opened. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, but you were one of the main folks down in Maryland who not only said, I'm not going to go ahead and close my business, Mr. Government, because you deemed me unessential, but also during that time frame, your business grew. You were one of the millions of Americans who defied their local governments, defied their city ordinances, and actually ended up going ahead, finding more success because you said, sorry, government, screw you.
That's right. I own, my main headquarters is in Damascus, Maryland. I own a place called MMA and Sport. I went pro in 2011 fighting, and I opened up in 2012 my first gym. And during 2020, I had the government, I had these other people showing up to my place of business that I own in every way, saying, you may not be in your business. You may not have people in your business to make money to, provide for your family. You may not do that. I did not listen, and they came 6 times within, I believe, 7 to 8 months, and I kept saying no, no, no. They kept threatening me with fines in court, but guess what? I'm sitting here today, and we never went to court because they knew if we did, I would win. I'm a big fan of the Constitution, and we were ready. If we went to court, we were going to win and set precedent for the rest of Maryland. They didn't want that, so they backed off, and then they came back, and they said, okay, you can stay open, but everybody has to wear a mask and be 6 feet apart. Bro, we're a grappling facility.
I was going to say.
I do that. And I have it on video. I got to send it to you later, where it's just me and my child. When they came one of the days, they came around 11 one day when we weren't open and I was cleaning or something. And it was just me and my 6-year-old at the time. And they came in, and I have it on camera. I said, so you're telling me and my son in my place of business, you are going to try to tell me right now that we have to wear masks? And they said, yes. I did not do it. They left. They made their threats, whatever, never came back. But we stayed strong and did so well, Brian, that I had to open up another spot about 45 minutes down the road. And that happened in 2021, in June of 2021. So God has been good. People have seen the truth. And as you know, man, especially in 2020, back when we first kind of started talking and meeting, that's how you found out about me a little bit, because I was already out in the streets protesting and rallying and trying to wake people up. Like, guys, this is wrong in so many ways. You know what I'm saying? If they're doing with this, worse is to come. And we saw that with the vaccines and how they made, you know what I'm saying? So it did. No one was listening. I was out there protesting and rallying with 20, 30 people showing up, all women, by the way. I didn't know where the men were, bro. But I saw it firsthand, and people are now looking back like, yo, Kyle was there from the start. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that has given me credibility. I thank God for giving me that, that strength and that courage to do that. But I saw it like you did, Brian, from the start, and it was messed up. I stayed strong, kept my feet in the ground. And you know what? I was willing to take whatever. I was willing to take fines, jail, loss of business, reputation, whatever it was, man. I'm always going to stand for doing what's right.
We have to. I mean, we're in a situation right now, not just as a country, frankly, as a global like society, where we have a moment. It's truly a big pivotal moment for us as a species. We are either going to go towards the route of self-destruction or the route towards peace and prosperity. We have the opportunity to choose one or the other. And it seems right now, and this is why I'm so thankful we have folks like you out there, folks like Shane Hazel down in Georgia, fighting the good fight, because we need folks to bring the energy, but also bring the fight to the folks who are going out of their way to cause harm, to do the exact opposite of what they were supposed to do when they swore their allegiance to the Constitution, when they swore that oath, when they were supposed to defend the U.S. Constitution, not to violate it. And we need folks right now to go against those bureaucrats, especially in D.C., who are completely isolated from the political process. We saw how dangerous it was just over the past few days when the CDC unilaterally voted that they're going to mandate the COVID vaccine for kids as a part of their mandatory vaccine procedures. Are you kidding me? What is this nonsense? We need people to fight back against these government bureaucrats. And by the way, get your Stop Trusting Government Bureaucrat shirt over at briannicholsshow.com/shop. Kyle.
Hey, Brian, the reason I like talk with you, man, is you mentioned the key words. You say oath, you say defend, you say Constitution, the key things that people are forgetting about. We have people leading our country that you're voting in that have the money, have the power, know how to coerce people, and they don't care about the people they're supposed to serve. They look at it as we the people serve them, and it's not supposed to be that way. I'm coming from a stance of, man, I've served my whole life. My mom and dad taught me right. I'm in the Bible every day. I see how Jesus, did his thing, and it was from serving, and that's truly what I want to do. I'm not made of money. I'm not made of power. I'm not made of lies and all these. I'm really trying to get in there, man, and do what needs to be done, and truly serve, brother. And I'm going to go back to what you just said about what they passed the other day. The CDC was talking about. Isn't it crazy that it just continues to get worse and worse with the way what they're trying to push? I mean, listen, if you want to take the vaccine or not, if you believe in that vaccine or not, I am not judging you by your decision, but to make other people do it, just like with the mask. We said it from the start, Brian. We said if they do this stuff with the mask, worse is coming. And here we are, man. And more than ever, people are seeing, I guess that's a silver lining, more that people are waking up, you know what I'm saying? But still, bro, if this goes now, what's next? It's gonna keep going, brother. And we need people, and I say this with confidence, not cockiness, like myself, to truly get in there, who will truly give their life and reputation, bro. I'm right here. You guys listening, if anything bad happens to me, if anybody, just know that I know what I'm getting into. I know what I'm putting myself into. Okay, so I'm ready to put my life, my reputation, my job, my way, everything on the line to serve our people and to have Maryland be the actual one state in the country that has that representation in the best way. Now, I do like some other governors, don't get me wrong, in the country, but I know that I can lead better. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, let's talk about right now some of the top issues, not just that you're seeing in Maryland, but I think folks are seeing across the United States. Number one, rampant inflation. It's everywhere. Cost of living has been skyrocketing. Your average mom going to the store trying to figure out how to make the budget fit the grocery bill, and it just doesn't work anymore. The math isn't adding up. I think the most recent number I saw was that your average family is now spending ballpark $600 per month more than they were. I think it was this time last year or the time in 2020. I've got to get that number right. But the fact that we are even having that conversation, what is going on? And I guess the question that folks are asking for their leaders is, what can we do? So, Kyle, what can we do to help address this?
I'm one of those people that say, listen, I don't have all the answers. So what I do is I go learn from people that are be able to prove that. So I've been spending time in Florida, in Georgia, in Tennessee, where I just got back from, and everything's half the price that it is here. Safety and security, everything's better in a couple of these places that I'm looking at, because I need to see what are they doing there that we can bring to here. And as somebody who is a small business owner and truly grinding with my family and really feeling the hit of inflation big time, bro, you know, I'm sitting in an apartment right now in my bedroom with 2 lights on right now doing this interview. You think I don't know? You think I'm not one of you guys? You think I don't want to fix this stuff? We need to get to the root of this. And first of all, I'll tell you straight up, the key things that I'm sitting on with my election is safety and security, small businesses, schools and education, but also taxes as well. And when it comes to federally, what the federal level is doing with taking our money and having it and spending our money on, it's insane. So that's just one thing that I just want to make very clear is taxes are going to be going away, especially at the federal level. I'm not saying abolish, but we will definitely be looking at the price tag that the federal level sends our state. And we're not going to be paying. We're going to be making sure we're focused on our state. People don't realize that there's a federal constitution and a state constitution. Do you understand? Like, so people don't realize that as a state, we're able to have like our own little world here if we really want to. And I don't know if you see it, but everybody going along with the tide of the feds and the federal level, those states are getting destroyed. So I'm ready to pull back, get our state safe and secure because, Brian, let's not lie about it. I'm not fear mongering, but the world is not just going to get better like that, brother. It's not just going to become safe and secure. Your money's not just going to start piling in. Your kids aren't going to be going to school when you know that they're the safest they could ever be. It's not like that anymore, brother. Things are getting worse. So I stand one, like I just said, safety and security. You need to make sure that this state of Maryland, no offense to everybody outside of our state, but I need to make sure that my home state is safe and secure, that your kids are safe and secure. And then we start focusing on those small jobs. How are we going to, as a small business owner, I wonder where my focus is going to be when it comes to businesses. You know what I'm saying? As the big corporate and the government takes all of our money, it needs to come back to us. We need to keep what we have here as well. And then, like I said, with taxes, bro, I've already made a promise. I will never sign anything that raises taxes. I don't care what it is for. I'm never going to be raising taxes. If anything, I'm decreasing it. It's getting too out of control everywhere, brother, and you see it.
Talk to us now. You mentioned there's a few governors that you liked, and I just for the audience out here because they're like, okay, this guy's unaffiliated. Give me an idea though. Like who are you looking at out there that are governors right now that you would say, okay, he or she is doing an admirable job. I wouldn't maybe necessarily mirror all their politics, but I would at least, you know, take things that I liked from them.
Well, Brian, our favorite, we have to agree, Gavin Newsom. No, I'm just kidding. Before anybody has a heart attack, I'm just messing.
The 2024 Democratic nominee. We're going to call that here. I'm going to say right now. I'm almost going to guarantee he's the nominee.
Dude, I hope that's the case because then that won't happen. But we saw what happened in previous elections and years. So I better not say that because the world or what God knows what could possibly happen.
We don't want a real life Batman villain as president of the United States.
But to answer your question, I'm just going to be honest, and I'm not even jumping on the train. I've been about it, is the DeSantis. I really like what he's standing for. You know, he's attacked by the evils of our country, by the people in control of our country right now for what he's taking a stand on. And he always goes back to that Constitution. He always goes back to the parents. He always goes back to protecting these children, bro. And most importantly, he's focused on his state. So that's somebody I've definitely taken a lot of, ideas from, knowledge from, learning from. So that's the main one that I'll point out right there. There's other ones, with Abbott and some other guys, but I'm not going to say that they have the majority. DeSantis is the one that I can say that I've really liked a lot. And it's not like, oh, just because I heard on the thing. I've looked a lot into him. I've talked with a lot of his people and haven't been able to meet him personally yet or talk to him personally yet, but I can definitely say I like what he's doing there.
Yeah, and definitely we've talked about DeSantis many a times here on the show. I think while he is not an granted, right? We're not a big L libertarian show. We're more in this world of the small L liberty. Like we're trying to get our solutions into action. How do we do that? We do that the most effective way that we can possibly find. And that could be the GOP. That could be unaffiliated. That could be libertarian. It depends. We have to be strategic. So with that being said, I look at someone like Ron DeSantis, maybe not as, again, my 100% ally, but at the very least, he is somebody that I completely agree with, like on the important things too. And that's the thing we have to realize, right? Thank you. Yes. The important things that really, truly matter. And across the past almost 3 years now, Kyle, which is the part that blows me away, is that where we're at now is COVID. He was one of the best governors on COVID. Now he did mess up at the very beginning, but he did so and then completely reversed when he got the data. And correct. All of us were uncertain. On my show, we had Dan Mitchell back. It was April 2020. And we were talking about, would the long-term implications of the lockdowns possibly cause more death and devastation than COVID itself? And when we started talking about that, this was right when COVID was starting. It was actually the very, very beginning of April. That's right. And it was like all the uncertainty. We didn't know what we didn't know. However, once the data started to come out, once we started to figure things out, once you had folks like Jay Bhattacharya and Sanjay Gupta doing the Great Barrington Declaration, that started to open my eye. I say my eyes, a lot of people's eyes, to what we actually had to do to fix this, to address this. And with that, you saw Ron DeSantis not only listen to the founders and the co-authors of the Great Barrington Declaration in person, to speak to them, to hear from guiding a policy perspective, but also he then took that and he corrected the wrong action he took at the very beginning. And then going forward, Florida was pretty much a shining example of how best to approach this very unprecedented. I know that word doesn't mean anything anymore. Unprecedented times, because it seems like every headline is an unprecedented headline. But that's where we are today. I'm reading about it was on Timcast the other night, talking about how apparently Putin threatened to nuke, and he tried to nuke, but he was overruled by some of his generals. That was a report. That's terrifying. I don't want to read stories about that. So let's get out of these unprecedented times. But anyways, going back to the point here, and that is when we're looking for folks to lead, right? And I keep on going back to the idea of leadership, Kyle. Yes. People are looking for folks who can acknowledge when they made a mistake. And good God, if you look at any politician out there, it's so rare to see any sense of acknowledgement when things were done wrong, when you do make a mistake. And for not only him to acknowledge that, but then to change the policy, correct course. And now Florida, I was down in Florida back for Young Americans for Liberty's Revolution 2022. It's amazing. Like even here being in Indiana, you just see the mentality is just different. And especially going from where I was in Philadelphia for 7 years and spending 2 of those years under lockdown, more or less, even though it was a soft lockdown in many cases where businesses, they weren't all the way shut down, but to go and you had to have your vax passport and wear a mask and stay 6 feet away from each other. And if you stood up, you had to make sure that you stayed away from everybody. It was a whole thing. So it wasn't really like you were living. It was like you were in constant state of house arrest, which who wants to live like that?
I feel like there's a whole side of people. I feel like there's been a huge split. I believe we can now see, I kind of like that we've gone through the last 3 years. Not that I'm happy about all the bad things that happened, but the silver lining.
It makes things more obvious.
It's more obvious of who's with this and who's with that. I'm going to say it. Who's of the good and who's of the evil. Who's of the I can see, who's of the blind. You know what I'm saying? And what's happening is I feel like there's these, like that the left, I guess you want to say, are these bitter, angry, just people that want to see the rest of us suffer rather than truly make things better. They'd rather make things worse. And that is truly what I've been seeing. And I don't know if you've been seeing that, but that's literally what it is. I feel like these people are just so, sadly, maybe broken or hurt internally, and there's no turning back for them, to where they just want to pull everybody, drag everybody back down with them, rather than, hey, let's come together as a people and truly make this right. They don't want to say, hey, I was wrong, which would be so. If someone comes to me and say, listen, Kyle, last 2 years, man, I've been bashing you, man, and saying that this wasn't, but you know what? I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, it's all good. Thank you. You see it now. That's what we were trying to say. Cool. You see it now. Cool. Let's move on. Like if people would just admit it, but they're so deep down in this rabbit hole.
Sunken cost right there. You hit it. Yes.
They don't want to get out of it, man.
Yeah. Well, it really quick. It's economics. It's truly economics. It's sunken cost fallacy. Once you have gotten to the point where you are so invested in this narrative, you can't get out, because there are so many people. There are so many people that I know personally, professionally, and I've seen them just completely change as people, like to manipulate themselves, to like twist and contort themselves to fit these ever-changing narratives. The science changes. Good freaking God. What a like, just pardon the expression, bullshit excuse. I know we have some families that listen to this in the car with their kids. I'm sorry, but what a bullshit excuse to say the science changes when you're proven wrong. When us folks who are saying maybe we should approach this a little differently. And you folks said that, no, trust the science, trust the experts. And now the stuff that we were saying is being proven right. And you have the audacity to say, well, science changes to what? The things that we said were going to happen that happened? I'm sorry. Like, and to your point, right? You want to hear them say, yeah, you were right, but they can't, because they had to buy that narrative for 2 freaking years to justify what they did. And if they can't if they can't acknowledge that, then the entire reasoning behind why they did this, they lose it. And it becomes so obvious what they did.
Brother,
Sorry. Go ahead.
And that is why we are at where we are at in America and the world right now. But we're focused on America, right? That is why we are at the worst we've ever been.
Yep.
Why we are here, brother, is because people like we are talking about aren't just owning up to the wrong and just making things better again. You know what I'm saying? Like just let it go. But like you said, these people will probably never let it go, and they'd rather bring the whole world down with them than just to be like, yo, we got to stop now. You know what I'm saying? And what sucks about it is the leadership we have now and today, the leadership we have, and I'm talking about our political figures making these decisions. They are those people. They are these people we're talking about. So we don't have those people in there to truly combat and fight what we're talking about right now. The whole reason I'm running for governor, because during all this, the lockdowns and all this crap with masks and vaccines going around 2021, 2022, and it's not ending, it's kind of just getting worse. I realized when I reached out to my Republican people, my Republican leadership, my Democrat leadership, that there was nobody there to help. Nobody wanted to do anything. Nobody did anything. And most importantly, there was nobody that was a leader. There was nobody strong. They were too scared about, okay, what decisions do I need to make right now so that I have a better chance of winning the next election and not losing this relationship here and not losing money and still have my business. That's what they were focused on instead of doing what was right. And I saw that personally as somebody who is a big deal in my community. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm popular, but I know a lot of people through my nonprofit, my businesses, and the things I do in the community for the last 15 years especially. And I just realized there was no one there. I even looked at other small businesses that were listening to this leadership, and they knew it was wrong and they still did it. If you know something is wrong and you still go along with it, there is no merit to that. There is no leadership in that. And that's what I was seeing. There's people that I looked up to, Brian, and they just didn't have a backbone. They didn't do what was the noble thing to do. And I just realized, man, where have all the men go? I mentioned earlier when I was doing the rallies and the protests, because it's all I could do, because I'm not in that leadership position to make the decision. So I had to at least get people rallied up and blah, blah. And I look around at these rallies, especially the beginning ones, and there was no dudes there. It was all the mama bears that knew something was up, because their hairs were going up because they knew something was up, because they're attached to their children. They're attached more. They felt it. But the men, where are they? Where are they? You know what I'm saying? That's truly how I felt. And I just want to make that clear to the viewers, is that's the reason I'm running. I'm not running for governor because I'm like, oh, I love politics. I hate politics. I hate everything about it, man. It's where the devil lives. All it's been is hate and greed and all this stuff coming at me in every way. But I'm telling you right now, the reason I'm running is because there's nobody there to make the decisions for us that are actually the right ones to do. And I'm going to do that. God's put it on my heart. I'm going to get in that position. I'm going to finally do the right thing, you guys.
I used to try to empathize. I still can empathize with the old mentality of like the folks who are like, I don't want to vote because it's not going to change anything. I get the mentality. I understand that. But that can't, like, we can't do that anymore. That doesn't work anymore. This is why we are where we are. Not because, yes, we have a broken voting system, but you know why we're really messed up right now? It's because we have 50+% of Americans who just don't participate in the system. So what happens? We end up with 49%. We'll just use that as a number. And then you split that in half. That's who's deciding what the direction of the country goes. Wow. The majority of the minority. What are we doing? Why are we doing this every 2 and 4 years, where we're determining the direction our country is going to take, and just do so on a whim, more or less, and just see every single election cycle more and more of these corrupt politicians get put back into office, and then they fill these different departments and bureaucratic organizations with lifelong appointees who are going to be there and milk themselves with a government check every single year, and they're going to have a great pension when they retire. And 9 times out of 10, their job can be automated by, an auto attendant. Like, what are we doing?
Ryan,
Go ahead.
To your viewers, to those listening that are borderline, should I vote? Should I not? One, coming from somebody who has been exactly where you guys have been and like not even care that much. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna
They're doing their thing. The smart people are doing their thing, right? Like, trust the process.
As someone who now sees how it really is, please take my word for it. You can trust me on this when I say that your vote is going to matter more than ever. It really does. You keep hearing your vote matters. Well, guess what? Now it actually does, because the people that keep controlling these games, especially those listening that are more on the libertarian and conservative side that want Maryland to be better, because it's about to become full blue. I'm telling you that right now. The Republican Party here is dead in the water. Their lieutenant governor and governor don't even get along. It's a shipwreck, and everybody sees who the real libertarian / conservative, and that's me. Okay, the Republican Party is dead in the water. You are going to have a Democrat candidate that believes in all the wrong things and is going to push the Biden agenda if you do not write my name in. I'm telling you this right now. You're going to watch this later and be like, dang, he was right. I should have went and freaking wrote his name down, blah, blah. I promise you right now, you are going to have this state be completely destroyed soon if you don't go right in Kyle Sefcik on November 8th. Okay. So to those of you thinking your vote doesn't matter, it does more than ever. And I'm telling you now, the people that own this game, the people, especially in Maryland, that own this political game, those people go vote because they know how it is, and they know how to, hey, I got to get you. They know how to get the people to go vote that play the game. Unfortunately, that's what it is. So you need to understand your vote matters more than ever. I'm still here, brother.
There we go. I was like, that would be a perfect fit for the feds to cut it right there. They're like, he's speaking too much truth. We can't have this happen anymore.
Bro, when I did the Freedom Convoy 2022, the feds were all in all my stuff. My computers weren't working. My phone wasn't working. They showed up with 13 different agencies on the National Mall. They had like freaking every kind of agency outside my hotel room. When I had my family, I'm in line with 3 cops on each side. It was absolutely nothing I've ever experienced in my life. So when you say that stuff, it's not like a joke. It actually
is not a joke anymore.
What?
It's not a joke anymore.
Anymore. So ever since I've been on the radars running for governor, and then they start seeing like, holy crap, there's this young kid, 35 years old, business owner, fighter, owns a gun company, works with police, works with military, has a lot of connection. They started looking at me real quick, especially when we brought, the convoy over to Hagerstown, Maryland. You wonder why they stopped in Hagerstown, Maryland. You wonder why we were based there, you guys. I made that direct you hit me up after it when I made the direct message to the president of the United States. And no matter what they tried to do to stop me, I still showed up there with I was the only person to pull the permit for the State of the Union address for the National Mall. And there I was on the stage, like I said I would, no matter what they tried to do to stop me. And you saw what followed after that with the trucks and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And what they were doing to stop us. So when you say stuff like that, bro, that's been my life kind of the last, year and a half with everything I've been trying to doing, and then to defeat the mandates walk and all these things that I've been a big part of. Oh man, do they want to stop it? Now, I'm not saying that's why my phone glitched, all right? But that you triggered that because, you saw how it just went off because you'd be surprised of everything that started happening. But bro, I'm right here. I got nothing to hide, man. If people know what I'm about. And if they want to come at me, dude, like I said, I'm ready to leave my reputation, my life, my businesses, whatever. I am doing what's right and standing for what's right.
Kyle Sefcik. So normally these episodes are like 20, 25 minutes. So your average listener to the show, hey guys, I know we're a little bit over. I'm the host, so we get to do that kind of fun stuff. I get to call an audible because I'm the quarterback. So with that, I know, right? With that, thank you for taking some time with us and joining us, and obviously talking not just about what you're looking to do when you're going to take over the government to help us leave folks alone and hopefully reel some things back there in Maryland, but also you're helping us from a cultural standpoint. We talk about this all the time. Politics is downstream from culture. If you want to see things, in particular policy, actually get changed, it requires us to change the way we do things. You talked about the men not showing up. We talked about this a few episodes back. What's happening to our men? A lot of things, and we have to address the root problems of those issues. So it requires us to have that conversation. Now, Kyle, what we're doing here in the program is we're trying to ask those tough questions. But here's the reality, folks. We can't do that without it costing us some dollars to actually put on what we're doing here. So here's where we need your help. Now, normally, the one thing I would say is you can go to briannicholsshow.com/support. $5 a month over in the Patreon. You can become a supporting listener, or you can go and do a one-time PayPal donation wherever you want. But I want to actually give you a chance to get something in return. So I'll go ahead and show some of our awesome new stuff we have over on our shop over at Proud Libertarian. I am so excited to show you this because I've been working really hard. Now, my secret passion project, Kyle, is I like graphic design stuff.
Yeah, check it out.
Almost, I would say like 90% of the stuff you see here on our website is something I've designed. Otherwise, we have Colin Olivia and Hunter Wynn. They are two of the gents that work on my show doing some graphic design stuff. They've designed some stuff as well. But let's look at some of our new stuff. So on our Brian Nichols Show shop, by the way, head to briannicholsshow.com/shop. You want to check this out. So we have right here our brand new Good Ideas Don't Require Force hoodie. We have our brand new No Farmers, No Food shirt. Our Michael Scott 2024 shirt, which is I'm a big Office fan. I thought that'd be fun. Yeah, our Magic Money Tree shirt. This one's been selling like crazy here. Let me see. I'll open this. So our Magic Money Tree shirt, this one took forever to design because I actually had to go in. Every single one of those leaves is a dollar bill. And I designed that one. That was a fun one to do. So I got our Magic Money Tree one, and then going back here, we also have new on the shop. Let me scroll down. Go next. There we go. So we have our Liberty Legends shirt. So a lot of icons on there. We have our No Marks shirt. And then we have our, now that's what I call Tyranny Klaus Schwab shirt. What happened in 1971? And then that sweater, The Good Ideas Don't Require Force. Our Meet People Where They're At, Sell Liberty swag. And then The State is the Great Fiction by which it serves everyone else shirt. A Frederick Bastiat quote. And then again, our Magic Money Tree shirt as well. Also, trust the experts. Yeah, let's trust the right experts. We have our Mises, Rothbard, and Friedman shirt. So all of this, by the way, folks, if you are interested in getting some of this swag, briannicholsshow.com/shop. And also, by the way, yes, the proceeds are going to Brian Nichols Show as well as to Proud Libertarian. So you're supporting a liberty-based business. And also to help you out as well, if you want to go ahead and get some awesome presents for the holidays, which are a few months away, get ready. Use code TBNS at checkout, 15% off your order. I hope you guys go ahead and get some value from this and enjoy it as much as I did creating it. And also, it's fun to make your friends laugh. Remember, we talked about this at the beginning, Kyle. If you can get someone to laugh once they see it, they can't unsee it. And like the Klaus Schwab one, I mean, this one, I laughed so hard creating this one. Here we go. Like, that was just fun. Klaus Schwab, no, that's what I call tyranny. WEF. Yeah, he wants to do the Great Reset. Well, yeah, that's tyranny. All right, that's all I have for you guys. Kyle Sefcik, what do you have for final thoughts for our audience today?
Well, one, I'm not going in there to take over the government, you guys. I'm going in there to lead, and that means getting the government out of our damn business. That means getting them out of our money, getting them out of our personal lives, bro. That's just what it is. And so I want to make that very clear. I'm not coming in there to rule. I'm not coming in there to conquer and to dictate. I'm coming to get the government out of our business and out of our pockets. Other than that, guys, you can help me out at kylesefcik.com. I need your vote more than anything. I'm not like these other politicians, you guys. You can find that out for yourself. Just look into me. That's all I ask. Other than that, keep me in prayer. God's been taking good care of me ever since I gave my life to Christ 3 years ago. I just want to encourage that as well. I'm going to keep Christ at the top of my life and make sure that everybody listening today, Christ is the answer to everything. So thank you for having me on, Brian.
Absolutely. And one last thing, Kyle, if folks are in the great state of Maryland, it is a write-in ballot. So how do they go ahead, do that? Make sure they're not accidentally voting for Kyle Sefchil or Kyle Seftin or something weird like that.
So quick education thing for you. Even if you spell it wrong, because I'm the only other candidate, the Board of Elections did say if they spell it wrong, do I trust them on this? I don't know. But they said, Kyle, if it's just a K and a Y, so be it. You know what I'm saying? If it's SEFCLK, so be it. We know who you're talking, because there's no other candidate. But then I go back and say, why can't you just put my name on the ballot? Why can't you just put it on on the ballot? Anyways, KYLESEFCIK. You can visit me at kylesefcik.com to check that out. But other than that, write it in, fill in the bubble, and where it says write in, Kyle Sefcik, and we're going to take the state of Maryland and do what's right.
There you go. All right, folks. Well, if that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what will. Thank you for joining us. I had a great time today talking to my good friend Kyle Sefcik. He is running for governor of Maryland. And by the way, folks, did you check out? We had an awesome episode this week. I got to keep on talking about because it airs today, premieres today in all AMCs across the country. And that is Eternal Spring. So I had the director, Jason Loftus. Now, this movie is Canada's applicant for the Academy Awards for Best Foreign Film, which normally I'm like, the Academy Award. Okay. But no, I got to pre-screen this film. Oh my God, it's absolutely incredible. So the entire premise, without spoiling the movie, we go back to 2002 over in communist China, and we hear the story of 20 absolutely incredibly brave activists from the Falun Gong movement who fought back against the communist Chinese propaganda, and they actually hijacked the state media waves to help set the record straight that Falun Gong is not some wild, crazy, corrupt practice, but rather they're just trying to basically practice peaceful yoga, more or less, and what that entailed, the response from the Chinese government, but also one of those activists. He is the artist for the entire show. He is an absolutely amazingly gifted artist. He did work for projects, I think it was like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Star Wars, and another great noted series. So please go ahead, check out my episode. I had a great interview with Jason Loftus. I will include that link right here if you're joining us below on YouTube. Also, we are over on Rumble. We are over on Odyssey. So wherever it is you're catching us on our video feed, please just do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, the little notification bell so you don't miss a single time we go live. And also to paraphrase / kind of steal the expression from my buddy there, Tim Pool at Timcast, be the notification. Sometimes, yeah, folks are saying, I'm not getting the notification the show's going live. What's going on there? Well, you know what? Help defeat that. Be the notification. Share the show. And when you do, please go ahead, tag yours truly at B. Nichols Liberty. That's all I got for you, folks. Thank you for an amazing week. And yes, we had an amazing week of guests. Go hit subscribe. Check out all of our past 5 episodes this past week. But with that being said, Brian Nichols signing off here on the Brian Nichols Show for the one and only Kyle Sefcik. Yes, running for governor of Maryland. We'll see you next week.
For listening to the Brian Nichols Show. Find more episodes at briannicholsshow.com.